Hey guys, James with Beer Performance. We're working on a KRX 1000 steering rack today. I was just about done with it, and I figured I'd throw a video up here of what we got going on with these things and what the problems are with them. So, like I said, I'm building this one for a customer. This is our full upgrade rebuild style kit for the KRX 1000 steering rack. Um, Basically what the problem is and what folks have been explaining to me is they have a lot of play up and down, left and right on the rack shaft. And what it is, it's this going up and down and this rack shaft going in and out. And that's solely because of this little bushing right here. This is the white bushing under the cap that I talk about with the little spring on here. What this bushing does, it goes in this hole right here. Spring goes on top of it, and then you're supposed to put the cap right on top of here. So essentially, again, it's spring loaded. What happens is these springs will collapse, effectively being useless. I mean, a spring's a spring no matter how hard, whatever. So whenever that happens, this little bushing kind of wallows around in there, and then that's how you get your up and down, left and right type of play. And what it is too is this white bushing here, the stock bushing. You can see it's not very tight to the shaft, right? So it's got a lot of wiggle on it. It doesn't follow the contour very well. So it wiggles, it goes up and down, causing all of this movement back and forth. Right, so how we fix that is we give you a new bushing. We do sell this bushing separately, or we do have it in the full rebuild kit. And basically this bushing gets rid of this spring. And now your bushing with the adjustment cap is going straight onto the bushing. So whenever you install this inside of here, you can set the tension, and this little guy ain't going nowhere, right? So we also have made it much truer to the shaft. So when you put this on there, even if something were to come loose, I mean, you can see compared to the white bushing, you can't wiggle that thing, and that's not a very lot of pressure. So it encapsulates everything to prevent the up and down, and then your adjustment will be the in and out. So that's the main portion of it. Like I said, this thing's available separately. That'll fix a lot of your problems real quick. You don't have to take everything apart to get to this bushing. All you need to do is take this little cap off with the jam nut. I think it's what is this saying? 19 millimeter, 3/4 Allen head. Fits right in there. You can unscrew it, change all these guts out, put it back together, and that'll solve most of your issues. The other thing we're seeing is the end bushings of the steering racks right here. Like I said, this one's halfway complete, already installed with a bunch of our upgrades. But that bushing there and this bushing here. These are the stock bushings on the right here. You can see what we've seen is they will either fall out, physically come out of this thing because there's not a very good press fit on these things, or they'll break in half right where the nice little indents are. Primarily on the driver's side is where all the kind of action is happening, where the tension is and whatnot. What I'm thinking is the rack teeth right here are grabbing the end of this bushing right here, and it's getting ripped out. We've seen quite a bit of those, and then we've also seen these things break off in about 3 or 4 pieces underneath the boot inside of here, and that will also cause excessive play. So what we go back with is a solid brass bushing on either side. It's a tighter press fit. You can see they're a heck of a lot wider. Solid brass, they're going to last you a hell of a lot longer, and we've yet to see one of these things break apart. So these will go in driver's side and then the passenger side. We've also made the whole bore of it a little tighter tolerance to the rack shaft itself to help eliminate any wobble, slop, all that good stuff. So that's the gist of the problems that we've been seeing with the KRX racks. Again, I mean, you can see all this wobble. You throw one of our bushings in here. Obviously, I'm just going to kind of half-ass do this real quick. Screw the cap back on. Get it halfway, adjusted. When I do this, I'm going to do a final adjustment to it. But that bushing now keeps everything in place. So you don't have that slop, you don't have that wiggle, you don't have all that play that everybody's trying to been describing about. The other thing too is what we've seen is these factory rack boots. They are a hard plastic. They don't seal very well to the end of the housing. So you will get a lot of dirt, water, nasty liquid sandpaper up in there very quickly. If you do any kind of pressure washing, mud riding, or whatever, this is a good example right here. We got this one in the other day. We'll be able to clean this up. We'll probably keep this one as a spare, just because. But I mean, there's no chip teeth like the Tyrex racks that we deal with. The pinion assembly down there is pretty good. I mean, it's just dirty and nasty, but it ate out the bearings. It ate out the bushings. It ate out the seal. I mean, everything's pretty well ate out of it, but we'll be able to clean this up, polish it best we can, slow this thing back together all cleaned up for a nice spare, in case of emergency type of deal. But that's the potential of what could happen right here if you don't address those rack boots. That's pretty much liquid sandpaper right there. So I mean, you can see this is a brand new unit straight out the box, nice and shiny, what it should be. But we're fixing this up. I believe fella said he was doing a long travel and 4-inch portal application, so this one's going to have a hard life. But once we get done with this thing, it's going to be tight and right for a very long time, and it shouldn't give him any issues with it. So I hope this helps explaining a couple things on the KRX 1000 steering racks. We'll see you next time.